live or not. Just checking. Just checking as I work here. Don't appear to be. Okay, I'm actually live. Just making sure. Getting the link so I can share it. And blast it to the vigilantes. I'm actually live. Just making sure. There you go, mute the stream that I'm listening to. Blast it to the vigilantes. Making sure. Boom. Let me know if you're in here, if you can hear the music, because I sometimes blast it too loud. Vigilantes, create the post. Link. Bam. Going live to create content. What do I want to say? Making clips from the scrap with Steve Kaiser. Come hang out and chat. That's all I got. Come hang out and chat. Put in there content creation. Hangouts, that's some good tags, that's good. Post it. Send it. What do I have to do? Good lord, man. Boom, boom, boom. Alright. Chad Force, what's up, my brother? How we doing? Trying to get a link out there to everybody so they know I'm live. I mean, I don't know if anybody wants to hang out, but if they're bored, this is a fun place to hang out. Go on to Discord. I'm gonna share it to the vigilantes in Discord. If you're bored, come hang out and chat. Should I want to put it on Facebook or not? Let's throw it on Facebook. Why not? Let's include everybody. Close that. Open that. Go to Facebook. Hold on. I'll start paying attention to people asking questions and talking. In theory. I'm not going to lie. Went to the gym this morning and I destroyed my legs. I went to get up out of this chair to go to the kitchen and I couldn't get out of the chair. My legs did not want to work. Going live to make some content. Come hang out and chat. Boom. Got it, got it, got it. Posted. Okay. Now I can pay attention. Beautiful day. So far, beautiful day, brother. Absolutely. Okay, so here's what we're doing. There's Discord. Minimizing. I'm sorry, man. Hey, I just recently switched up my workout to go from a 3-day split into a 6-day split. And I'm like, I really want to hit my legs hard. I really want to, instead of just getting 1 day out of the 3. And plus, I really don't lift on my days on duty. I do gear workouts. So, long story short, I wasn't getting my legs as much as I wanted. So, long story short, I split them into front of legs and back of legs and calves. But I've yet to finish the workout. And, like, that's unusual. It's even today, I had stuff left on my plan, and I had to limp out of the gym. And so, I left it all in there. But I'm going to work up to where I can finish the workout and then see how it progresses. But yeah, the quads are I did the Bulgarian splits and I was down to 35, a 35 pound and doing Bulgarian splits and trying to get 10 reps on each leg. Vegas, my brother, Rob Fisher. All right, I'm doing work here. Keep talking, ask questions. We'll keep having discussions. Leave that side. Oh, this is something I can share with you right here if you guys can see this. This is called the Book of Search Checklist. I've got Lloyd, so I can put a checkbox in that one. I can turn it green. Right there. That means there's only 2 since I'm doing this only because Fisher's in here. But you see this right here, this unchecked box? This one he's already put a full article in, so this doesn't really count. He supposedly he's got it done and it's supposed to be on its way. But this is the one I want to point out. I can't format it because I don't have it, so I can't check this box. But anyway, there's the checklist for getting everything done on the Book of Search. You can see how much is turning green. All these ones are various states. I've emailed everybody on the bios. As they turn red, that means they're done on that list. Then I just gotta get final approvals. It's getting really close. Gregory Allen, my brother. Good morning. Morning, Corley, your time. Nearly afternoon here. I'm getting close. It's 11 o'clock here. So pushing it. You must be Eastern time is what I'm guessing, Gregory. I probably asked you many times where you work. Okay, so off the Book of Search checklist, let's go here. We're going to Canva. We're going to do some work. We need to, I think I already made one actually. Hold on, before I do this, I think I made one already. Blog pictures, weekly scrap, reels. Pretty sure I got ahead of myself, or not ahead of myself. I was productive and did this already, and made a 264. Okay, there it is. Boom. Okay, I'm smart. I am smart. That means this gets replaced. There you can see it. I can select it in Project Media List. Make this big so you guys see what I'm doing. Then I just gotta replace it. Boom. Now it's replaced throughout the entire document. Now I just delete this old video here. No problem. No, not that. There's this old video here. This is last week's scrap, or 2 weeks ago scrap. Keep doing this the slowest way possible, but not the point. And then we just have to open up. Weekly scrap. Here it is. Just gotta find the date. What was the date of the other day? The 17th. 9/17. Boom. There's the scrap. So we got the scrap. What am I doing now? With the video track, that's why. That is weird. I don't know why I have a video track in there. Not the point, not the point. We'll zoom in and get the look right on Kaiser here. A little too tight. What a good dude, man. Also, what a good scrap. That's a pretty good frame. We'll see how that works. That's a good place to start. Center him up just a little bit. I like that. Okay, he looks good. Slide that over to the side. Delete that. Put that there. Close that. Now we're back in. And now we just have to find the sound bites. And that means going to Discord. And we'll see. We'll go to timestamps. And there's no timestamps from the Vigilantes. Texas checking in. Welcome, Jonathan Patton. Pre-order on Book of Search. It's a great question, Gregory. So here's my plan with the Book of Search. A, it's free to the fire service. 100% free to the fire service. So there is no reason to pre-order it. It's going to be an electronic PDF. That's the main way that it brings value to the fire services. It's 100% free. Anybody can have it, right? And I want everybody to share it. Hopefully they don't edit it and add to it or anything like that, but that's out of my hands. Once it's free and set loose on the world, it is the fire service to do with as it wishes. So that's the initial plan, is free to the fire service. Share it as you can. PDF to everyone. And beyond that, for those who want a physical copy, it is going to be a badass physical full-size 8.5 by 11 textbook style. I think it's going to be, right now it's at 220 pages minus, I won't mention any names, but minus one article that I'm waiting on from somebody in Vegas, and Donnie's article, and I got to still put in Brian Lloyd's article. So a little bit to add to it, probably about 10 to 12 pages more. So it's going to be around 230 pages in articles. There's going to be about 10 pages of author bios because I want people to be able to flip to the back of the book and say, okay, what did Brian Brush contribute? I want to read his article, and it's an index so they can find the articles. So that's going to be about 240 pages, and then the drills. The vigilantes are working very hard on the drills right now. They're getting them all formatted up so they all have a little bit of continuity and they're formatted correctly, and then they're going to go on the book. And the dream behind that is, or the vision behind that is, anybody anywhere in the fire service on a day shift, they can flip to the drills, and whether they have a badass $1 million training facility or they just have a few pallets put together on the back pad, they can find a drill to do in that book and then crush it. So anyway, you guys have heard all this before, so I won't belabor the point. Point is, I'm putting that available on Amazon. And to keep it as simple as possible, I'm going to create, I think it's as simple as possible. It's the simplest way I think I can do it, is I'm going to create its own Amazon account that, its own KDP publishing account, Kindle Direct Publishing, and it's going to be available through Amazon. So people can just go to Amazon and order it. The shipping is done. Everything is done. Nothing through me, and it's all separate. So like my own books that I sell, the 9Ls, Challenge Your Leadership, or Broken Tools and things like that sell through, I don't have to go through and say, okay, how many book of searches did I sell, how many 9Ls, and separate it all, the record keeping. Everything that sells on that one account will go to its own bank account, and whatever's in that bank account can just be cut and shipped direct, or mailed directly or deposited directly to Firefighter Rescue Survey. And now if someone else is smarter than me, figures out a simpler way to do it, I'm all ears. So please, but that's my goal. So as far as pre-order goes, there's no way to set that up on Amazon. So since I'm setting it up on its own Amazon account, it's just going to go live when it goes live. The good news is, because it is publishing through Amazon and they're on-demand publishers, there is no, what do you call it? There's not like they're not going to print 1,000 of them, and when they're sold out, you got to wait. They're just going to print as they come in. It's going to take 2 to 3 weeks to get the book when you order it. And generally speaking, the way Amazon works, if you sell a lot of books, then they pre-print. If you don't sell many books, they wait till it orders and comes in. You can tell if a book is popular when you order it on Amazon, if it's Amazon published. If it's coming to your house the next day, it's a popular book because they keep them in stock. If it says 2 weeks, that's because they're printing it. So if that makes sense. So it depends on how popular it is. At first, it'll probably be, you have to wait the 2 weeks while they're printing the initial runs. But if it's super popular and tons of people order it, it'll be going out pretty quick. And then of course it'll steady out as people. Anyway, it's close, man. It's been 18 months of working on it, and I'm so close. But I honestly, the last few days, since getting back from Europe, I shouldn't say that. Probably the last weeks. The first week back from Europe, I was balls to the wall. But about the last week, I've kind of been dragging my feet. Mainly because I have time. I'm waiting on the drills to get in, things like that. Okay, so great question. Thank you for the question. Who else am I saying hi to? Blake Schneer. Hope the mowing is going good, brother. Got to support the cause and hopefully get my guys interested in the reasoning on it. Man, I hope that all the articles in it, I hope they challenge people's mindset towards search. I hope they either A, reinforce what you already believe, or B, challenge what you think and change the way you believe. And that's the goal of it. That's the goal of it. And I really do, man. It's going to be cool. I really do believe that. Yeah. All right. Back where I was. No timestamps from the vigilantes. We'll have to talk about that. I'm going to have to talk to the guys in the watch party. I don't know who was in the watch party. I'm going to go look. Watch party. I don't even know how to get in the chat there. That's how bad I am in Discord right now. We'll have to learn later. Okay. Minimizing Discord. My own timestamps, which I did not do a lot of them on Kaiser's. I was just talking too much. I really enjoyed the scrap. Tell me if the music's too loud or not loud enough. So good news. There we go. 8:15. If you can't do it, you can't teach it. I think that was a really good one. So here we go. 8:15 should be around 9:01:15 here.
Right. And we work on a very basic principle of threes. We try and teach in threes.
Okay.
Keep everything simple in threes, and you can break down the 3 even more. So for us with hose management, we start at first hose deployment. We got to get the hose off the truck to the front door or wherever the entry point is.
Sure.
And if you don't do that well, it's gonna make everything else start to snowball. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. So we teach that very simplistically, and we teach it with no stress. Just, this is how we get the hose off.
Right.
Here's a few variations.
I like him breaking down
There's
threes
an
here.
obstacle in front of you. This is how you now
just
got to
too
move
long.
around the
It's not a
obstacle
good
and
bite.
you take them through that journey, step by
And remember,
step.
when I make these, the whole purpose behind me making these is share them on social media, first of all, but hopefully people see it and share it, but it's enough to make them say, wait a second, I want to see the rest of this thing called the scrap.
So for us with hose management, we start at first, hose deployment. You got to get the hose off the truck.
But the hard
Then
part is
we
finding the
talk
clips.
about, okay, now you're going to go from the front door or from the entry point to the fire. So whatever the structure, protect the path of egress.
This is why it's so important that I write down timestamps while I'm doing the scrap. But yeah, I sometimes forget. Definitely forget.
Protect the path of egress. So if something goes wrong, we can get back out, or we find a victim, we can get back out. And extinguish fire. It's super simple for them. And the guy behind them, or the person behind them, is going to be the backup fire. We're looking for fire, heat sources, points of entry, everything with
115. I'm not finding it. Let me get rid of my preview.
depth at every skill level, because if you're going to teach it, you've got to be able to do it. And if you can't,
There we go. I found the clip. I just need to kill my music here so I can hear it. Put it way in the background.
in depth at every skill level, because if you're going to teach it, you've got to be able to do it. And if you can't do it, you shouldn't be teaching it.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Hold on a
So
second.
with the methodology, it's simple. It is really simple. It's that crawl, walk, run. You know, taking the student on a journey.
All right, we're gonna try this.
It was a huge turnaround for me, big eye opener, and love every minute of it now. Every minute of it. It is an opportunity to be in depth at every skill level, because if you're going to teach.
All right, so we got our clip, copying it. We got our clip that is interesting, and we got to slide it over here into our builds. Delete the old stuff. Here's our clip. There's our sound with our clip. Well, hold on. Where's our sound? There's our sound. Okay, I got our sound out. Now we just got to piece it together, see if this music is good with it. Help me kill my music.
It is an opportunity to be in depth at every skill level, because if you're going to teach it, you've got to be able to do it. And if you can't do it, you shouldn't be teaching it.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Hold on a
So
second.
with
All right, I like it. I like the music with it. It's not bad. I like the little low-key music there. Stretch it out. Get rid of that. Stretch it out. Okay, so actually I like that. Okay, now we just got to edit out the pause.
and if you can't do it, you shouldn't. You can't.
Be a little hiccup. We'll see how it plays.
Got to be able to do it. And if you can't do it, you shouldn't be teaching it.
It's not terrible. Oh, I like it. Now I'll take me out talking. Shrink this up. See how it sounds.
And if you can't do it, you shouldn't be teaching it.
Hold on a
So
second.
with the methodology, it's simple. It is really simple. It's that crawl, walk, run.
So I get rid of all this and then see how this whole bite plays out. Shrink it, drag it back, close it out, and let's see.
It is an opportunity to be in depth at every skill level, because if you're going to teach it, you've got to be able to do it. And if you can't do it, you shouldn't be teaching it. It's simple. It is really simple. It's that crawl, walk, run.
Pretty good. Man, it was tough I'm not gonna lie. Let me see what I missed. Everyone enjoy the day. Oh, Rob's out. See you, Rob. Thanks for hanging out, my brother. Pittsburgh Airport checking in. Welcome, Bender. Gregory Allen. I'm not sure. Let's see. Love it. Definitely. Oh, he's saying, okay. I was trying to figure out what you were talking about when you said that. So, man, what am I doing? Let's hope so. In recent years, our state academy has started victim survival profiles in their officer levels classes and have forgotten all tenable space needs to be searched. I understand prioritizing areas to search, but that they don't do a good job with emphasizing that. No, and that is the big thing, is that it is important to be able to identify what needs to be searched first, and that's where the data comes from, like Firefighter Rescue Survey, and why I believe in it so much, and the ULFSRI studies, and proximity to the fire, elevation in the fire compartment, all that stuff, is what needs to be processed by that thinking fire officer when they show up on scene. But it cannot replace the fact that we got to get in there and search all the spaces that we can get in and search. It's not a reason to say we're not going in. Anyway, I think anybody that's watching this knows that is not on the other side of this, or this other side of that argument. Not even an argument. You know what I'm saying? Crawl, walk, run. Let's call this one crawl. What do you think? Crawl, walk, run? It's a good name for this clip, isn't it? Now let's do it's simple. Wish I could say really like an Australian. It's simple, really. Rally. It's simple, rally. That's a good one. I like that. It's simple, really.
It is an opportunity to be in depth at every skill level.
I like that. All right, we're rendering our first one. Good job, Vigilantes. We did it. We got our first one under our belt. Browse. Let's go. Episodes, reels, finished reels. Okay. This is really boring stuff, so that's why I really enjoy you guys. Anybody who likes to hang out and just chat or hang out for a few while I do it, ask questions, please. It does not bother me whatsoever, because it's so much better than doing it on my own. It's so much more fun with... That was really fast. Oh, I did MP3. I was like, man, that's way too fast. That was an MP3. Okay, let's try rendering that again. Yeah, I rendered it as audio only, because the last thing I did was the... Oh, where's it at? AVCA, there it is. Dang it, why didn't it save it at the right spot? This really makes me angry. Now I gotta go find it. Corley. No, that's not it. This PC. D. There's the Corley I need. Blog pictures. Weekly scrap. Reels. Finished reels. Okay. Wasn't that exciting? GRNC number 264A. And if I don't name them correctly, I can't find them later. Not even a fade, dude. I just taken the buzzer and just... But, yes. Trying to move away from just always having the ball cap on. Slowly but surely. Rise Up Lights sounds like Razor Blade and Aussie. Rise Up Lights. Rise Up Lights. That's good. Rise Up Lights. Rise Up Lights. There we go. All right, we got our first one done. Now we got to find the second one. Next timestamp I had, if anybody had any timestamps, please let me know. This is the hardest part, is finding the timestamps. So I had 829, and it says well loved. I don't know what that means, but we're going to find out.
Around. We love it. And we're very passionate about being the best on the fireground that we can be.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, it's tough. It was a great question from Rob. I love the question.
but we don't wear uniforms out in the public. You very rarely see it in the way that we approach it, which is us. That's our style. That's the Australian way. We're not very extroverted in the way that we present all our information. We're very reserved as a nation. So to say that we're not proud of being firefighters, I wouldn't believe so. I think everyone's proud of being a firefighter. But we don't wear uniforms out in the public. You very rarely see a firefighter wearing firefighting t-shirts out in the public.
David Stender, it's I'm trying to read. Okay, let me catch up with Gregory Allen. To make this a bit more interesting, as a chief sitting in an interview panel for a new hire at the entry-level position, does it put you off with an entry-level candidate speaking from his experience? I'm not sure I understand. As a chief sitting in an interview panel for a new hire, is that you, Gregory, or are you saying as if I'm sitting on the panel? I'm slow. You got to bear with me when I read these. Does it put... I'm going to pretend you're asking if it's me sitting there. A new hire at entry level, does it put me off when an entry level candidate speaks from his experience? So this is what I'm going to interpret it. Would you prefer him speaking without experience as an officer? Again, this hurts me because I'm not sure on the punctuation if you mean, would I prefer him speaking without experience because I'm an officer, or he has no experience as an officer? If that makes sense what I'm asking. Either way, I think I think you're saying, man, I'm trying to say, if I've got someone coming in who has no experience and they're trying to tell me what the job is like, it really makes me just kind of shake my head sometimes and say, okay. And I'm not really evaluating their experience. If they're coming in with no idea and all they've seen is Chicago Fire and they want to be a firefighter, I don't blame them for having unrealistic expectations, because our job is to hire them and then teach them the realistic expectations. Now, if it's someone coming in from another jurisdiction or, sorry, limit on carry. I know, brother. I'm not trying to judge your question asking. Testing to the entry-level position, but I speak to my experience as an officer. So now are you the candidate and you're speaking to your experience as an officer, testing for an entry-level position? See how slow I am? See how bad my brain doesn't work that way. Sorry, limit on character. Testing to the entry-level position. Random person? Okay, you are testing for an entry-level position. Man, if you have experience as an officer, I want to hear about it. Me personally. Now, I'm going to be the first person to say I'm going to be super judgmental in my interpretation of whether I think you're arrogant prick or a humble person sharing humbly what you know. And that's, a big part of how I take what you say. So it's more about my read on you as opposed to the information presented. Because if I feel like you're a know-it-all trying to tell me that trying to flex how much information you have and all your experience to impress, then I'll probably score it low. And if you are saying, hey, I have a little bit of experience with this, I'm by no means saying that I know everything and I'm willing to learn anything at any time, but I do want to bring that to the table and this is what I've learned, etc., then I'll probably score it very well, thinking that could be an asset. But one of the major things I'd be looking for if we were hiring for an entry-level position and someone was coming in that was previously an officer at another place, I'd be looking for those signs that they would not be able to make the adjustment to the loss of rank, to the, just to be able to downshift and accept their role while they rebuilt relationships and re-earn the respect within the current organization, which just comes down to I'd be trying to read their ego. Right on. One of my questions was my biggest mistake. I took that opportunity to make mention of items missed during incidents that I added to my mental Rolodex. So back to Stender. Will you have anyone else from other countries? Man, Stender, I'm wide open to other people. It's not like I'm anti other people on the scrap. I do have to keep in mind that the vast majority, 97% of the audience that listens to the scrap is the American Fire Service. One of the things I'm very cognizant of is that we have a lot. I mean, obviously in the American Fire Service, we have massive amounts of volunteers. I don't have a lot of volunteer firefighters that are predominantly volunteer come on and talk about predominantly volunteer issues. And so I'm aware of that, and something I'm working on. I do have a lot of people on who have a career job, but they also volunteer, and we get some value from that. But the big thing is I'm not opposed to it. It's my networking. I try to never just say, ooh, there's somebody I think would make a good one, and cold call them. I always try to work through either A, my own relationship with that person, or B, I meet, like I'm talking to you, David, at the Irish pub, and you say, hey, I've got a person that's amazing training officer over here, blah, blah, insert blah, 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 blah. And we end up having, and I end up reaching out to him and say, hey, David Stender gave me your name and said you'd make a great guest on the scrap, at which point they always lead to the, no one wants to hear from me. I'm nobody from nowhere. No one wants to hear my story, that kind of thing. And then I have to fight to get them on and blah, blah, blah. And the whole progress continues. But usually it's because I go through personal network. I try not to ever cold call. I cold called initially. Don't get me wrong. I didn't know Rick Lasky the first time I called him and said, hey, reached out to him and said, would you like to be on the scrap? But I try to now always do reach outs through network. It's just so much more effective. And I'm all about being effective. The other part is I'm getting no work done, but I enjoy this more. I met Kaiser at FDIC. That's the reason he's on now. And because of him, I will have the big guy, the bear. I'm pulling a blank on his name, the other Aussie that come to FDIC. I know there's more than two, but the two that I met, the two that are vigilantes, and I forget his name. And now it's going to lock up my brain as I can't remember it. But long story short, I met them there, so that's why they're on, is the personal relationship. So Brooksy from Canada, the same thing. I mean, the thing is you guys, there's just the people in this room, we could probably sit here and make a list of 12 people instantly, like without even breaking a sweat, of people that should be on the scrap that haven't been, because we all know worthy people who have stuff to share that give a lot to make their departments and their jurisdictions better. So long story short, I'm wide open to it. I just don't have the connections with them. One person I am going to have on, which I haven't talked to him yet, but is Stefan Fucht. Stefan Fucht. I got to say it right, and I'm not just cursing at you, but he's out of Germany. And he's an amazing, amazing dude. I mean, a lot of people know Stefan, and he needs to be on, and I just got to get it scheduled. And that's the other part of it. Everybody knows my 2024, how productive I was, and I scheduled the entire year from like May forward. And now I can't book anybody. I'm booking now in January all the way into February. Just as I think of like Stefan, he needs to be on. So anyway, and then the other part is not an excuse, but my mind is a storm. You guys are well aware, as you put up with me squirrel braining out and doing stuff on the scrap and on these. And I have the best of intentions sometimes to get somebody on, and then I'll work on the book of search for a couple hours, and it's poof, gone. And then I'll meet the person that told me about them, a year later at a conference. They're like, hey, did you ever follow up with what's his name that I told you about? And I'm like, I don't even remember that. And I'll look through my text messages or my emails, and I'll be like, oh yeah, shoot. So that's the other part, is that. No, David, I agree with you. So, and I don't know if there's not I'm a slow adopter of change. So I like all of us, I'm a creature of habit. My habit has become reaching out to people through my network to build it. But it also becomes, over time, if you don't branch out of that, then an echo chamber. I had to move Saturdays, or the next scrap was supposed to be Monday. But because of tropical storm, whatever it was last month, it was going to be a hurricane. I don't know if it got to Cat 2 or whatever, but it was pretty minor. But they ended up canceling my flights and canceling the conference I was going to last. So I had to reschedule it for this next 4-day, which is right over the scrap. So I had to move the scrap. The guest who was coming up, Chris Thompson, not available for the only day available, which is Saturday. So Saturday, I called Kyle, because why not? And we're doing another whiteboard episode And so it's going to be exciting. I'm super excited about that because Saturday opened up. Instantly I said, I'm calling Kyle. But I didn't call like somebody new. I've been wanting to do another whiteboard episode really badly. So. Yes. Okay. Next timestamp. I was getting close.
I wouldn't believe so. I think everyone's proud of being a firefighter. But we don't, in the way that we approach it, which is us. That's our style. That's the Australian way. We're not very extroverted in the way that we present. I definitely know every firefighter is proud of being a firefighter. I've not met one person who doesn't want to be a firefighter or doesn't tell people that they're a firefighter. But we are a little bit more humble, and we're probably not we're not outgoing in the way that we approach it, which is us. That's our style. That's the Australian way. We're not very extroverted in the way that we present all our information. We're very reserved as a nation. So to say that we're not proud of being firefighters, I wouldn't believe so. I think everyone's proud of being a firefighter. But we don't.
I just don't feel it. Me too, brother. Man, I'm getting Kyle on and doing whiteboards again. I'm super excited about it. All right, next timestamp. Man, I don't have many of them. I just don't have many of them. And it's my fault for not writing them down.
It doesn't mean that we're not professional, because some of the most professional firefighters are going around. We love it. Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same with everything that we do. I think we always ask questions to strangers that we just meet. What do you do? All that kind of stuff. And
Sure.
we never hide that we're firefighters. Sometimes we're a bit weary about saying it because then you'll spend the whole night talking about being a firefighter.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's small groups of small pockets who have huge pride in their stations.
I love it. Jason Haynes coming at you. Great question, Jason. He says, how do the studies that UL put on?
But then there's not. There's differences, but then there's not. The construction for us, we've got a lot of mixed construction, a lot of lightweight construction. Yeah, remember our country is probably 200 years younger than your country. So we're still building, and our high-rise environment is a lot of new building stock. You look at the skyline of Melbourne, where I'm from, and in the last 20, 30 years, it's doubled from what I remember as a kid. So we've got a lot of really passive fire safety systems inbuilt into our buildings. So we don't have to deal with the big old legacy high-rise buildings like you would in the States. But the UL studies has been amazing, and I think everyone around the world is listening to UL, IFSI, IFR. You know which one I'm talking about.
FR. Don't get me spouting letters. But FRSI, Fire Research Safety Institute. Yes.
Yes,
we'll say
one.
That's it. And, FSRI.
That's it. What I love is it actually helps us clarify a lot of stuff, because their data sets are data. It's not opinion based. So when they do a study on transitional attack, for example, we can then take that data and that terminology, compare it to our terminology and experience, because we don't have a lot of data, and then implement it. So for us down south, we've really looked at the IFSI transitional attack on the single story structures that they were doing, and implemented that into our training. So we do look at it. We look everywhere though, not just the US, but definitely UL is a big source for us.
Good information, just not a good soundbite.
Yeah. Well,
watching the content creation now, and my experience with listening to other scraps, there needs to be an app to make timestamps. No, I agree, man. I don't know if I just need more bandwidth. Most important thing is making the scrap. This part is not as important, but even for, I think on Spotify you can hit bookmark, when you're listening, but live is when I need it, so that when I come back to here, I have it, not have to listen to the whole hour and a half podcast again to find it. Because honestly, content creation, I could just listen to the whole scrap right here and find all the things.
Yeah. Well,
Right now, I'm trying to
For
get
somewhat.
lucky
the
by
fire service.
remembering.
Oh, look, it will take years to change for us. We're a big boat. My fire service is probably going to talk US terminology here, yeah? So they will be in charge of fire attack and heavy road accident rescue. So they'll be coming along as well. Trucks as well. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I don't think I'm
wrong
gonna get
side. Something
without just listening
articulated
to the
like
whole
this.
strap.
I even got props. How's that?
Nice.
So an articulated platform. That's due to our construction and lightweight. If you get up on our roof, it's mostly
And part of it's
terracotta
me because I only wrote
type
down like
tiles.
I had a lot of notes
And once
through
they're
the, through the
affected,
show.
by heat, they
You can
become
see the
brittle.
note, I
So
don't-
it's pretty
I can't tell
dangerous
when
for
it's
us to be
focused
up on
'cause
the
of the
roof.
delay.
More often
But,
than not, we'd fall through a roof with all the gear.
I
we've
only
got.
wrote down like 3 times.
So we have to change our tactics.
One of them
because
turned
of
out
our
to not be a very
construction.
good
For search though,
clip. It was a good
we don't
the whole
have
scrap was good. I'm not
dedicated search
downplaying
teams.
this Kaiser.
My,
And I know there's
son
good
is
clips
trapped
in
in
here,
the
but I'm
first
not
bedroom
finding
on the
them.
left. I know where I'm going. Yeah,
So
I'm going to
rather
go
than
in there
listen
and
to
I'm
the
gonna
entire
affect that
scrap, I'll
rescue.
take the one I
If I can
got
see them in a second story window,
and tell
I know where
myself
they are.
in
That's
the
my
future
priority.
scraps do
But if
better
we
job
don't
of
know where the
timestamping.
victims are, we've got to stop the problem. So we go straight to fire attack. And if we find a rescue,
No, so if the known victim, known location.
I think we're basically what we were just talking about. Yeah, absolutely. So we have a few brigades or stations in areas where there's access to lots of. Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Okay.
Look, we talk about. Ooh, now I've got my cheat sheet, so liters per minute I can speak about.
All right.
Oh, absolutely. It's global. Yeah, we have those discussions all the time. We go, well, is there a space where someone can survive in this building? And then some people turn up to a job where there's fire coming out the whole front of the building, and they say it's fully involved.
There you go.
And then some people turn up to a job, where there's fire coming out the whole front of the building, and they say it's fully involved. But you go around the back, it's not on fire. There's space there. So even our vernacular here is just like what's happening in the US, which is happening in the UK, and it's probably happening in every other country, where if we choose the correct terminology and I say the front of the building is involved, to me, coming on scene as a second truck, I go, well, I want to get around the back of the building and search that space. But if somebody says on the radio, the house is fully involved, I am imagining, well, the house is gone.
Right.
Yeah, so even...
I like that. I like the idea behind this one. We might get a second clip here, but it's really long and I got to chop it down. So we're going to go to work. Where are we sticking it? Let's try this. Well, let's try this one. What's our music here? A little too epic. Why is that so? Is that strictly the compressor? Let's see if it's any better here. Alright, we're going to run with it. I don't mind the music right now, but we got to chop this thing down. So, start it there, there, and we got to figure out what we can chop out. So here we go. Why do we have... Oh, I see. I grabbed the wrong sound. Please hold. Put Steve's music off the compressor.
And then some people turn up to a job where there's fire coming out the whole front of the building, and they say it's fully involved. But you go around the back, it's not on fire. There's space there. So even our vernacular here is just like what's happening in the US, which is happening in the UK, and it's probably happening in every other country. Where if we choose the correct terminology, and I say the front of the building is involved, to me, coming on seen as a second truck, I go, well, I want to get around the back of the building and search that space. But if somebody says on the radio, the house is fully involved, I am imagining, well, the house, it's not on fire. There's space there. So even our vernacular here is just like what's happening in the US, where if we choose the correct terminology, and I say the front of the building is involved, if we choose where if we choose the correct terminology.
See how this rolls. Still too long by by quite a bit, so I gotta still chop it down, I think. Oh wait, no I don't. Hold on. Ooh, messed that up. Yeah, we got plenty to work with. Okay, let's see how this plays. Are we ready for this? Are we ready? Here we go.
And then some people turn up to a job where there's fire coming out the whole front of the building, and they say it's fully involved. But you go around the back, it's not on fire. There's space there. If we choose the correct terminology, and I say the front of the building is involved, to me, coming on seen as a second truck, I go, well, I want to get around the back of the building and search that space. But if somebody says on the radio, the house is fully involved, I am imagining, well, the house is gone.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Got a good point behind it. Slide this closer.
The house is gone.
Nice. All right. Got it. Got it. Check, check. And now we got to name it. What do we want to call it? What's a good one? What's a good one for 3 words? Definitely a hard soundbite because I think everyone listening understands fully involved versus fire showing front. Yeah. That's a great clip. The fully involved screamers need to hear this as often as possible. No, it depends on where you're at and where the fight's at in that discussion. Even the Book of Search, Nick Ledeen has a really good section in his communication on what we should not say on the radio. Currently, for video, I currently use Vegas Movie Studio 14. Movie Studio 14. It's like probably it might be 10 years old at this point. It might be why it's called 14. I don't think it's 2014, but it's a pretty old program. I actually upgraded last year to the new version because I really enjoyed it. And long story short, I hated the new program because it was more like an app on your phone, the way stuff worked. And I really enjoy, like over here, being able to use my mouse to move around and scroll and grab things. And the way they built that other one was terrible. I also like the way the stuff on top covers up the stuff on bottom. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but like if this clip is up here, then it's over. And if I pull it below, it's physically under, then that's an overlay. And it just makes, I know I'm getting nerdy here, but that just makes sense. So anyway, long story short, Vegas Movie Studio 14, you can't buy it anymore because I tried to buy another license for it and it's not available. And so I'm looking to upgrade to something new because I'm sure there's tons of good, mainly AI integration that can do a lot of stuff that I do manually that I think they could do a really good job on, especially on the sound editing side of things where I use compressors and stuff to level out the scrap. Let's see. I got to name this. And it's not fully involved, exclamation point. That's a good name for it. Yes, everybody agree? Hope you guys like it because I'm getting ready to run it. It's not fully oh wait, it's sliding. Hold on. I saw that. I don't know if you can see this. These little diamonds down here, these determine the location of of the text. So I had an extra one in there. And I think I've been moving them because they're too far up, and that's the problem. So I got to move it down. Now let you see what I'm doing. I'm moving this title down on the screen there so it's a little lower. But I'm doing it halfway through the clip. So I need to delete this dot. Put this one at the beginning. Boom. Now it's done. Now I just close my video preview window, which I do all the time.
And then some people turn up to a job where there's fire coming out of the whole front.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, now we're rendering it. Now we're rendering number B. Got it. Project. Render as. Gray reel. Needs captions. Number 264. Bravo. All right, I'm going to try and find one more. Let me see the next question. Let me see the next conversation over here. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Chromebooks and their capabilities or anything like that. I've got a pretty powerful gaming laptop that I use for a lot of video editing. I bought it to play games at the station, but I never play games. So it's an overpowered laptop that I use when I go on the road. The problem with the high power is battery consumption. So like on an airplane, it's dead, and you can't keep a laptop plugged in on an airplane. Which is not something I knew. You can charge a cell phone. That's about it. I don't look nerdy enough. I'm pretty nerdy. Trying to think what else. But no, if anybody, I need to get with someone like Luke Stevenson. He's usually a night owl. He's another Aussie. He's helped me a lot with over here. It's him. He is the actual one that made the background here on this. So I can delete Kyle, delete the words. He actually made this right there. And it was during one of our content creations when I was moving over to Canva. And he created that. And then I was like, we were talking, and I don't know how good he's good at graphic design. I don't know if he knows anything about editing. So he made the background for this one. And then he also made the background for this one, which is basically the same one as the other. So those are the ones I use over and over for making stuff. You can see I was practicing content creation, building thumbnails in Canva. A lot of it's just learning and experimenting. Chromebook is basically a phone with a big screen, but there are some limitations when it comes to apps and all. I got you. So it only works with apps and not actual programs. Is that the deal? More like iPad apps and not, I don't know. iPads are pretty powerful. I don't know. I don't know anything about Apple. Part of my hatred for them is I don't know anything about them. Ignorance leads to hatred. That's why I'm anti-iPhone, boys. But I'm the first one to own it. Plus, I'm not sure, and Dan, I'm not sure how good I'd be at dressing up. I got I do try to wear these because these really help my eyes when I'm doing, this is just blue blockers. Strictly because my eyes, after I'm working on the computer editing either the podcast or working on the writing or the book of search or anything for any length of time, my eyes just start to weep. And I think it's just the sheer amount of blue light coming off the monitors. So I'm supposed to have these on the whole time here, but so thanks for reminding me. This will be a little bit of more nerdy. I can put some tape on them or something. All right, we're gonna try to find. I think I might just go with the 2 clips. Oh, mainly because, not to be lazy on it. It's just I don't want to listen to everything looking for another bite. And I didn't take. And then basically move forward and say in the future I will have better timestamps and make a bigger deal out of making timestamps. No, I got nothing. Man, the thing is, David, I'm a gamer, and there's only one thing Apple doesn't do better, and that's game. Like, plain and simple. Now, maybe it's gotten better in the last 5-10 years, but I love that's how I relax, is I play video games with my kids, and Apple does not do games. That's the one thing they don't do well. So all 3 of my kids are PC gamers, and we get together and it's not even that I game a lot anymore, just don't have the time, but we'll actually get together on Discord and watch like my son play a story, a narrative based game where there's an actual story. And instead of watching a movie, we'll watch him play it. And then, we're talking on the headsets and stuff, telling him, hey, no, open the door, go through the door, do this, do that. And we try to solve the game together. It's an interactive experience, but it's how we hang out. So, but I don't know. We'll see. They say video and sound editing, which I'm not very big on sound. I mean, back in the band days, audio editing, 100%. There's nothing that compares to Apple. I know that, and I think audio is the same thing. You'll never find a professional video editor that is not using Apple. That's any sort of mainstream. What am I trying to say? High end professional. It's all Apple. So I'm not even pretending. So, no, but you don't understand the hatred I have for iTunes and some as the forcing me to do things only a certain way instead of having options. Like autonomy is and probably honestly, Gregory, the real thing it comes down to is like 3 years ago, I might be longer now. Apple came out and said, they got busted for slowing down people's phones. Basically, they were making them eating up their memory and making them crash and not hold charge as long. And they were actively doing it, and they got busted that they were doing it. And the whole world was like, what? I can't believe you're slowing down our phones, so we have to buy new ones. And then the whole world just collectively shrugged and said, okay, next phone. And they just keep on doing it. It's just, and that's the thing. And I'm not saying that like not everyone does it, but it's the fact that they got caught. Everybody was outraged, and then everybody shrugged. And I'm just like, no. So it's a principle thing. It's not really based on like any verifiable like facts. That it's just strictly an emotional decision. And now I've stuck with it so long. And plus, I like my bendy phone. It bends in half. I keep it in my pocket. Now, Apple is, a few years later catching up. One good thing they finally did was they finally got to a USB-C like the rest of the freaking world. That's another thing is they're stupid. We'll make our own proprietary chargers, and you have to use our chargers, even though every other device in the world you can buy, including your headsets, mice, everything, you can't. You have to use the lightning charger for the iPhone. So, and again, that's just a get with the world industry standard, which thankfully, like Europe, the EU banded together and basically threatened them with a lawsuit, so they capitulated finally. So you get me ranting about iPhone chargers, content creation, and iPhone rants. And I'm not a tech guy. I've told this. I say this to everyone. I'm using a 10-year-old Paint program, a 8-year-old video editing program. You guys watch me fumble my way through doing this stuff, so I'm not a tech guy. So it's not like it's based in like I'm an expert and you should listen to me. It's not the point at all. I think that's all I've got. I'm not going to look for another. I'm gonna randomly pick a spot at 43 minutes and see what he's talking about. And if it's a good clip, we're going to make one more clip. If it's not,
and then the next day I can be stationed out in the regional area where I'm tasked with 3 or 4 things. So our jobs are dynamic in that sense.
Right. No, absolutely. Back to the next question from Kyle, which is, can you describe and he puts it in quotation marks, Australian way of fighting fire, specifically talking about nozzle work?
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes to high pressure fog nozzle stuff. So, all right, gentlemen. I don't think there's any ladies, so I'm not being sexist. I think it's all gentlemen right now. If there is, then ladies and gentlemen. But I am going to move on. We had a 1 minute and 1 hour stream. Got 2 pieces of content created, but more importantly, I got to hang out with you beautiful people. So, anybody got anything else before I sign off? What do you think of the Discord so far? I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving Discord. I was going to do content creation and go live on Discord and make it only that way so that it brings trying to get more people into the Discord. But you can't do good thumbnails anywhere, and that really bugs me. That really does hurt my soul. All right. I'm signing out. Remind me, everybody that's in here, remind me. Honestly, still haven't gotten a good photo on my iPhone that has yet to match my Nokia Lumia 920. Was that the Indestructible? The 920? Remind me to remind vigilantes. Yes, Dan Bender, 265 will be on Saturday. Remind me to remind the vigilantes, to remind me to remind them. That makes sense. I think I got enough reminds in there. Remind me to remind them, to remind me to remind them to get timestamps when we go live on 265 so that next time I do this, which will be next week, we can have good timestamps so we can make more pieces of content than the 2 we made today. All right. Thank you, Tony. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Everything you're doing, small or large, is affecting the fire service in a positive way. No, every day, brother. I enjoy it. I enjoy the scrap immensely. The book of search is going to be outstanding. And other than that, I'll see you in the Vigilante Discord, everybody. I'm heading over there now. And then I'm going to go be more productive. Thanks for hanging out, man. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out.